Evening, everyone. Those in the lobby, come on in and get settled if you haven't already. We're grateful for everyone, and we are about to go live, and we are about to begin. Welcome to this Candidates Forum for the town of Winterville, North Carolina, one of Pitt County's 10 municipalities. Today is Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. We want to open up with a very short prayer. Let every heart pray with me. We come humbled unto thee, O God, asking you to be the center of this evening's forum. We're grateful for your majesty, your sovereignty, and your mercy. We thank you for all that will be said and done in this evening's wonderful event. Let every believer say amen.
Amen.
I am honored to take this time out to introduce our MC of the evening. We are grateful for none other than Judge Wendy S. Hazelton, who has been serving as a district court judge for North Carolina's District 3 since being elected in November of 2016. The Honorable Judge Hazelton is Pitt County's second female judge. She is the first African-American judge to ever serve on the county's judicial bench in its 265-plus year history. Judge Hazelton, originally from Eastern North Carolina, and she's graduated from the North Carolina Central University School of Law in the year 2006. Prior to serving on the judicial bench, Judge Hazelton served this community as an assistant public defender. For 9 years, Judge Hazelton and her husband, they have 3 lovely children. Without further ado, if God has blessed you with 2 hands, put those hands together as we receive the Honorable Judge Hazelton.
Good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
That was kind of weak. Good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
All right, there we go. Thank you all again for being here tonight as we participate in the Town of Winterville Forum for 2025. I want to take a moment to recognize any elected officials here tonight. If I have any elected officials, if you would please stand and recognize yourself.
Richard Hutch, Mayor. John Moore, Mayor.
Dr. Brandon Will, Chantel Hawkins, and Councilwoman.
Thank you so much and welcome to all of our elected officials. Are there any news media, newspapers or reporters? We would like to recognize you at this time as well. If you would please stand. I do want to take this moment to give a special thank you to the town of Winterville, specifically Mr. Don Harvey, the Awesome Radio Network Candidates Forum team. You can see those individuals listed in the back of your booklet. All of the candidates that will be joining us here tonight, the Winterville Police Department, the Daily Drum, and the Daily Reflector, specifically Pat Gruner. We are encouraging each of you to participate in this forum tonight. So if you would love to ask a question, we have some ushers here with note cards. If you would raise your hand at the appropriate time, we would be more than happy to give you a card so you can write down your question. Please understand that those questions will be screened by our moderators to make sure that there are no repeat questions and to make sure that the questions are appropriate for tonight. Now we're going to get into some home rules. This is a friendly forum. It is not a debate event. We will not tolerate character attacks from candidate to candidate, from the audience to candidate, from moderator to candidate, from candidate to moderator, or etc. There is to be no campaign signs or banners allowed in the facility. However, campaigns and candidates may hand out their literature inside the forum. If there is one candidate on the platform, then that candidate will have the floor to answer questions for approximately 10 minutes. This does not include the 1-minute introduction and the 1-minute closing statement. The timekeeper will be seated on the floor in front of the candidates to set the time on the digital clock. If the candidates, are in the middle of a sentence when the time buzzes, they will be given an additional 30 seconds to complete their statement. If a candidate continues past the 30-second grace period, the moderator who presented the question will call time. If the person consists on speaking, their mics will be muted. I am now going to call to the stage the Town of Council, Town of Winterville candidates. If I can please call Miss Chantel Hawkins to the stage. She is the incumbent candidate. Mr. Tucker Moore, if you would please come forward and take your seat. Mr. Johnny Moy, Mr. Larry D. Richardson, and Miss Valerie Tyson. While they are doing that, I want to take a moment to introduce our moderators for tonight. We have Minister Andrew Davis, if you would please wave, sir. We have Tara Perez, Miss Jessica Chadwick, and Reverend Dr. Andra Cunningham. We also have our timekeeper. His name is Mr. Chris Carr. When we begin with the forum, the candidates will be allowed to have a 1-minute timed introduction. The order of the forum questions will move from left to right, then from right to left. We encourage the audience again to participate by submitting your questions if you have any to the ushers. If there are no questions from the audience, then the moderators will ask questions that they have prepared. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to present their response. Then we will begin with our closing remarks for 1 minute, moving from right to left for each candidate. We do reserve the right to not ask a question if it goes against the forum rules. Moderators, are we ready to begin?
Yes.
All right, the floor is yours.
Good evening. We would like to begin with our introductory statements. If you would introduce yourself. You have 1 minute, starting with Ms. Chantel Hawkins.
Yes, good evening. My name is Chantel Hawkins. I have articulated, advocated, and been accountable to the people of Winterville. My core values are responsibility, integrity, as well as loyalty to the people of Winterville. I moved to Winterville 28 years ago. I'm an ECU alumni. I am the daughter of Pastors George and Diane Hawkins. My grandfather was a World War II veteran, my father a Vietnam veteran. I have 3 children. I am the founder of Soul Purpose Advocacy, LLC, as well as Youth Voices Matter. I've placed over 70 items onto the town council agenda, whether repeated or needed. And I am here for the people because they are at the top of this organization. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Moore, Mr. Johnny Moore.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Moy. I am the Mayor Pro Tem for the town of Winterville. I have been a candidate or a member of this wonderful town that we consider as a slice of good life for the last 18 years. And it's not because of the job, it's because of the service that I love to provide for our community. and something that I like to give back to who and the ones who have given to myself and my family. I am married. My wife, Priscilla Moore, is an educator. My son is an educator here in Pitt County also. My daughter, she's an RN at UNC. And I do have a daughter-in-law and one grandson.
Thank you.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. Ms. Valerie Tyson, you have 1 minute.
Good evening. My name is Valerie Tyson. I am a native of Winterville, North Carolina. I grew up back in the 60s, so therefore I am familiar with Winterville as a whole. I am a licensed cosmetologist. I've been a cosmetologist for 41 years. Therefore, I know people. I love dealing with people, and I love to give the input that would help the people get to where they're trying to get to. I am a mother of one child and 7 grandchildren. He is married to Mrs. Coretta Little, and they are currently living in San Diego, California.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, at this time, we will begin with our questions that have come in from the public. And so we will ask you questions, and you will have 2 minutes to answer each question. And you may begin.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Incumbent Chantel Hawkins. Winterville seems to be experiencing lots of economic growth. If reelected, how would you work to ensure that this growth benefits all current and future residents as well as small business owners?
Yes, as I've stated before, the people are at the top of this organization. Economic growth is amazing, but we must ensure that we are growing by relationships, growing by touching a variety of areas in Winterville, because economic growth is minute if it is not benefiting the people of Winterville. We don't want economic exclusion. We want everyone to benefit from monies that are coming in. How will I ensure that? I will be sure to speak on behalf of the people of Winterville and what is needed, including small Black businesses and minority equity, including infrastructure that continues to need to be updated as we grow, including traffic accommodation, including water and sewer flow. We want to make sure that we are growing, but we are growing with the benefit for the people here in Winterville. Because again, if we are getting monies and it is not getting or benefiting the people, it is for naught. It is just to say we have money. We have people that have been rooted here in Winterville that need to see the benefits of economic growth, right? And we want it to be fair and balanced. I still have 18 minutes. We want to ensure that monies are accountable to the community center that have been talked about for 20 years. So we want to make sure we reappropriate that money for the people here in Winterville. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnny Moy?
The same question?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. When I look at growth on every area that we have here in our wonderful town that we consider as a slice of good life. I look at the north, the south, the east, and the west. I look on the west side near South Central, out in that area there. We have tremendous growth over there. So that means that we're going to have to do other things that, some things that they are liking, things like recreation, facilities that we need to be concerned about in the western part of Winterville. In the south part, we are getting ready to develop a huge a development called a pod. And that is going to be a huge project. So that means that we have to have the infrastructure that we actually need to provide the service there. In the north part, we can't go too far in the north because of Greenville. Now, we can go a little bit further out east towards D.H. Conley way. But it's so far we can go out there because of Greenville. And what we are doing there is we're looking at, a trail, walking trail. And then also we're getting ready to renovate and modernize Tar Road. It's getting ready to become a 5-lane. So that's going to be an increase in the future, or to be able to let this traffic and the growth that we have, that we can be able to commute back and forth to Greenville, back into our wonderful town that we have here in Winterville. We are more of a bedside community.
You have 30 more seconds if you're not done. Would you like to continue?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Okay.
Ms. Valerie Tyson, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes.
Winterville seems to be experiencing lots of economic growth. If reelected, how would you work to ensure that this growth benefits all current and future residents as well as small business owners?
One of the things that I strongly believe in is uniting, and that plays a part as well as growth is concerned. We have a lot of things, as Johnny Moy said, in the footwork of Winterville, but it's going to take some time, and it's going to take us coming together as a community, forming these things together. As far as uniting, we can and we will, but it's going to take time. And as far as the building or the structure of things, Winterville has always done things with people of the community in mind. We don't try to sidetrack or try to pick out people for this or that. We do things in a way that is accommodable for everyone. So with that being said, I think if selected as town council, I would help as far as moving forward to see Winterville grow, not in just one part of Winterville, but all parts of Winterville.
Thank you, Ms. Tyson.
Okay, I have a question for you also, Ms. Tyson. Some candidates say their town needs change. What do you see a need to change, and how will you facilitate that change? 2 minutes.
Change is something that it doesn't always feel good, but it's good. Now, as far as me facilitating it to become change, that's a question that I really can't say right now as far as change is concerned, because I've never been a part of a community in this capacity. Now, but as far as the people are concerned, change is for everyone. It's not just for one person, it's for everyone, or this group of people or that group of people. It's for everyone. And if we were to come together as a people, as a community, and pull together what we know and do, we could make a change. And it would be a productive change.
Okay, thank you. Also, the same question for you, Mr. Moore.
Oh, yeah.
Some candidates say their town needs change. What do you see a need to change? And how would you go about it? How would you facilitate that change?
Well, I think about when I was first moved here back in 1986, when the population in town was only about 3,000. And I looked at what we had then comparable to what we have today with the changes. So that means that from our street public works department to electric department to our public safety, to our administration, that means that everybody has to change. Now, also the citizen themselves. I can recall when everybody knew everyone when they first moved here. Now we're talking about a little bit better than 11,000 compared to 3,000. So what I need to do now, I got to make myself available, at all times. It's sort of like they say about an undertaker. They doze, but they don't ever go to sleep. And that means that they got to be available for any situation. And that's the way that I see that I need to be and continue to be a person that you can be able to talk to. I don't care who you are, because this town is made out of an at-large community. At-large means that we are one big family or a slice of good life, So I say to me is to make sure that we keep our managers on top of things, keep our staff abreast, and make sure we have enough fund to support and to give back to our community.
Okay, thank you. And also for our incumbent, Ms. Chantel Hawkins, the same question. You've probably seen a lot, and so you probably can speak on what the town needs to change. What do you see a need to change, and how would you go about it or facilitate it?
Thank you. So Winterville was established in 1897, 128 years ago. And so we need to change from base back then, right? When you think about change, you need to think about change in mindset, right? Infrastructure is changing. Winterville is growing by 1,000 residents per year. We are now at 11,027 residents, which makes us a small city. So while we are growing in population, while we are growing economically, we need to change our mindset. And doing this is allowing more public voice, right? We need to change and have more public voice. That is why I asked for a town hall initially when I was elected. The people are at the top. We need to change and hear the people more as opposed to a 3-minute standardized time. People need to understand that they can come in and speak to the various directors in the department, to the town manager, to the mayor, to the town council persons, because we work for them, right? We need to change in terms of more support for small Black and minority businesses. We want equity in those terms. We need to change in terms of public safety and ensuring that we have a civilian review board, right? It is good to have a police department. They protect and serve us, but they are not separate in of itself. When there are investigations, these do not need to be internal. These need to be external as well for clarity, and no one should have a problem with that. We need to change in terms of having a flood plan, and that is some of the change we need. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And incumbent Hawkins, we have a new question for you. What concerns when it comes to zoning and coding do you have for the community? And how do you plan as going forward to address those issues?
Can you please repeat the question one more time? And thank you.
Yes. So as it pertains to zoning and coding, what those issues, do you have any input in how you would change some of those issues that you see in the community?
Yes, so in terms of planning and zoning and coding, I think that this should be reflective of our community and how it is growing and how that works in terms of diverse economics, zoning, building developments that are equitable and that can house families from those that are at the lower part of the economic scale to the higher for single family homes and multifamily homes. We should be reflective of our community. When we have zoning that just is reflective of a set base, $200,000 or more, then this actually speaks to those working people, and it's filtering them out. And it is saying that you cannot afford to be here in terms of that. In terms of coding, we need to, again, look at the variation of the community and how codes are assimilated. And when we talk about zoning and coding, we need to be more transparent, not only with the town council and how that works. And we talk a lot about this behind closed doors, right? We need to talk about this more in front of the people so that they can be educated on it moving forward. Because in all of what we do, it is for the people of Winterville, and they should be informed about it and what it is and how it affects them daily. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Moy, same question. What zoning and coding issues do you have for the community, and what changes would see making?
Well, one of the things that we do have a planning department. And to me, it's one of the group that really keep us abreast and informed of any changes that we have. Most of the times that if there is something that we have questions or we do not understand, we can collaborate together and come up with a great answer. I mean, through our history. And plus, we do have the lead that we can address some issues or concern to North Carolina lead and municipality. If there is something that we in doubt of, dealing with zoning is the same way. We're very particular about how we allow abnormal situation comes into our community, making sure that we got the right fit. You know, you got to do your homework. You got to make sure that you are in code. Make sure that you abide by the code that we have. You know, we just don't want any and everything that comes in our town and take over and leave out the citizen, you know. And that's the reason why whenever we do anything, we try our very best to inform our community, to let them know there's any changes going on. You know, we have our utility bill, usually have a newsletter placed in that sometimes. Most of the times, we have a poster out front. Now, I think we come up with a website that you can come up and so what?
You have a few more seconds.
Oh, I thought I heard somebody told me so my time was up. And so, yes. I'm sorry. I thought I heard someone say my time was up.
No, you're good.
Would you like to finish in 30 seconds? your
Well,
thought?
I just want to let you know that we have different ways and means that we can address issues and concerns of coding, of planning of zoning. And we do have changes on a regular basis.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And Ms. Tyson, same question. What zoning and coding issues do you see in the community, and what changes would you like to make in those regards?
As far as zoning and all of that, I am really not so familiar with it as of yet. So therefore, I really can't speak on it, but the changes, I would definitely like to see us more together than apart.
Thank you so much for your answer.
My question for you, this is Valerie Tyson. My question for you is, on the topic of affordable housing, what steps would you take to try and address these issues?
On the
You have 2 minutes.
Okay. On the top of affordable housing,
The topic, yes,
affordable housing,
yes,
what are the steps that I would take?
yes. In order to try to address the issue itself.
As far as you would have to make sure that the people that are applying for it are eligible for it. And when I say eligible, they meet the criteria that are required as far as the housing is concerned. Affordable housing is just what it is. Affordable housing for everyone, not just one type of people. It's for all people. And that's it.
Okay, thank you for that. Mr. Johnny Moy, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Same question. You have 2 minutes to respond. On
Okay.
the topic of affordable housing, what steps would you take to try and address this issue?
Affordable homes, I think ones have different meanings or outlook on what they consider as an affordable home. Now, here in our town, when we have a developer comes in and want to develop a plot of land and place homes there, we have ones that look at the councils and say, why are those homes are so expensive? And they get on our staff, on the council, the mayor, the neighbors, and everybody else. But the thing is, when that developer comes in and to develop a piece of land to build a home, they are in control. And my concern is with affordable homes, my mother lives and I was raised up in the project. Is that affordable homes? And then after I moved out of the project, I got married and lived in Greenville and bought a $15,000 home. Is that affordable? I mean, and now I live in Winterville, and I've been here for about 40 years, and my home was, at the time, was $80,000. Was that affordable? In today's market, you're talking about affordable homes now, and you're talking about $250,000 to $300,000 or more. Is that affordable? So I'm saying to us is that when we're talking about affordable homes, are we always talking about it have to be something like a project? Does it have to be something like a home that I had when I first started out? But you don't have those no more. Back then, you didn't have a whole lot of developers. But today's market, you got all these developers. It's hard for a town like us or anybody to say.
That was time, sir.
One more,
Would you like
can I finish
30
my
seconds?
sentence?
30 seconds?
Yeah, 30 seconds. To say this, that affordable home should be this price. I don't know what that price is. That's the reason why I went down my life history from the project up until today. I don't know what that number is.
Thank you for that. Ms. Chantel Hawkins, the same question on the topic of affordable housing. What steps would you take to try and address this issue?
Yes, thank you. So, soon after I was elected, I began putting affordable homes and fair housing onto the agenda because affordable housing is very important, right? When you have a town, again, it needs to be reflective for those who live in the town. I put it on the agenda about 4 times. And while we have fair housing in our ordinance, that is to ensure that you are not discriminated against. But when we think about affordable housing, is it really fair when developers come in and they have mortgages that start at $350,000 and up and look at us with a straight face and they mean like this is what you need to pay or you can't live there. Affordable housing is very important because as an educator of Pitt County schools since 2005, I know what it means to purchase a home, to have car payments, to have expenses for my children and food. And are you going to have to weigh, can I pay my mortgage to live in a sound home and sound environment, or do I need to leave? So affordable housing needs to include when developers come into Winterville, we need to ask them, what are your incentives for the town? You're coming in, you're congesting the infrastructure, that then drives up utility bills, that then, has an effect on property taxes. So really, what is the cost? And we must keep this as a pressing issue. Can I have another 30 seconds?
You have 30 more seconds.
Thank you so much. When we think about affordable housing and it is placed onto the agenda several times, this is a discussion that needs to be had. And when reelected, I will ensure that we talk about affordable housing because it is costing us more in the people that have been here already driving their utilities up because developers are coming in and that plays on GFL and everything else. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Okay, now we would like to address some questions that have come in from the audience. And so those will be your next questions.
Okay. We're going to start with incumbent Chantel Hawkins. Okay. How will you provide housing grants and structure the process? In addition, with the increased tax rates, how will the cleanup process be completed in removing old homes and getting the streets paved?
Can you repeat that question one more time
Yes,
for me,
ma'am.
please?
How will you provide housing grants and structure the process? In addition, with the increased tax rates, how will the cleanup process be completed in removing old homes and getting the streets paved?
Thank you. I'm going to try to answer that piece by piece. You said, how would we provide housing grants?
And structure the process.
Okay, so housing grants, we will provide that through looking at our general budget. The budget that just passed was $17 million. We need to look at this budget and reappropriate funds. We need to apply for grants. So reappropriating funds so that we can have additional monies, perhaps to provide grants for people who are on a fixed income or small business owners so that they not only will have a business here, but that they can come in and move into Winterville and be a part of the Winterville family. Give me a second part, please.
And then in addition, with the increased tax rate, how will the cleanup process be completed in removing old homes and getting the streets paved?
And in terms of the taxes and the cleanup process, again, that's where your general fund comes in. That is where you're reappropriating money and looking at line items. What are we doing with these monies? Is this essential for us to have? Where can we cut back? What can we do to get old homes removed? But with getting old homes removed, one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? There might be someone who can buy the homes we find as trash and buy it from us, and that can help us circumvent the cost. And did you have a third part?
Nope, that was the community's question in full.
Okay, thank you. And just to note that with the taxes, this is countywide to townwide to our pockets. Can I have the 30 seconds? Thank you. But that is a delicate situation. That is a delicate subject. But again, it goes back to the budget. And when we do the budget, we try to aim strategically. But we must, again, keep the people of Winterville first, keep the residents first, keep maybe future residents first, and looking at the big picture. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnny Moy, how will you provide housing grants and structure the process? Would you like me to stop the question there?
How would I provide grants?
How will you provide housing grants and structure the process? It's a two-part question.
I still don't understand what your question is. How do I apply?
Okay, so I'm going to read the whole thing.
Yes.
All right.
please.
How will you provide housing grants and structure the process? In addition, with the increased tax rates, how will the cleanup process be completed in removing old homes and getting the streets paved?
Okay. It's the same question that you asked, sir.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you. Well, let me say this. The grant part of it, you have to apply for a grant. Also, that we do have ones that know how to write grants, and then you have to be specific on what you're applying for. The homes that we do have that probably need, and we have quite a few homes here in our community that needs to be removed. No one has not lived in it for many, many years. And the problem that we're having is something called errors. You got too many people that is part of that piece of property or the house itself. You can't get it removed because everybody won't agree. That is a huge, huge problem. The town itself we are waiting to assist in any way we can, but we can't go on no one property to force them to do anything. Paving, you said paving the road. Yes, we can, as long as it is in the town of Winterville. Now, there's two parts to that. One part is the town of Winterville owns so many streets. And then you got the Department of Transportation. You won't believe, and a lot of people don't even know, the street right there on Mill Street. It does not belong to the town of Winterville. I mean, it runs right into the town all the way through almost, but it belongs to the Department of Transportation. Main Street, same thing. But we got certain streets that we cannot even touch without having DOT give us authorization to do so. And most of the time, it is very hard, very, very hard to get DOT to agree with the way that you like for them to change things for you. Grants is 1 minute,
30 seconds, sir.
30 seconds. Grants are very complicated. And you got to be specific, and you got to have the right person that know how to write a grant for that purpose, what we're speaking of, to upgrade the homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moy. Ms. Valerie Tyson? How will you provide housing grants and structure the process? In addition, with the increased tax rates, how will the cleanup process be completed in removing old homes and getting the streets paved?
How would I, as Mr. Moy stated, grants are hard to get going. You have to have a person with the right education to write that grant. And you have to be, again, specific as to what is to be done. As far as the cleanup process is concerned, that is something that the town itself would have to discuss. And that's as far as the cleanup crews and things of that sort. But as far as grants are concerned, again, I say it is a process, and it is a long, sometimes, process. It's not just we're going to write a grant and it's going to be done. No, it's not that easy, and it takes time.
Thank you, Ms. Tyson.
Okay. Ms. Tyson, I have another question for you. I'm going to pick a good one out. Okay.
Please.
All right. How will you ensure town funds are used responsibly and directly benefit residents?
How would I ensure it?
Mm-hmm.
I would, to ensure that the funds are being used properly, would consist of me having meetings with the board members and we collaborating and we talking things over. And then we come up with a decision to distribute the funds accordingly.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Moy, the same question. How would you ensure town funds are used responsibly and that they would directly benefit residents?
One of the ways that I will make sure whenever we have our budget, we have an annual budget each year. And what we do, we map out what we need to do. We receive from each department the needs of each department, like the street, the electric, the public safety. Each department will submit their needs. Also, to make sure those needs are being met in each department, they provide a service for our community, for our taxpayer. So if the taxpayer is not receiving their service, that means that they're not receiving what they have paid into taxes. So yes, that is one of the best way that I know how that the taxpayer can see exactly what they are receiving back once they pay the taxes here in our town, is to look to see what we are doing. You know, you see your growth, you see an increase into your public safety. You see your growth again, your streets being paid. See your growth again, to make sure that the administration is doing what they're supposed to be doing, you know. And at the end, when you get ready to have your finance report and you have your audit done, and the audit report is given, that you can see that you have enough funds available after all has been done, that you still got enough to provide to your citizen in case of a disaster or emergency, for them to be able to have a productive life during a situation that happened unexpectedly, because unexpectedly will happen at any time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Ms. Chantel Hawkins, from your experience, could you just shed some light on this question? How will you ensure town funds are used responsibly and directly benefit residents?
Yes, so that should be uniform. All of any additional funds and revenues that come into the town should be looked at. We should have indeed a safety net, just in case there's a natural disaster or man-made disaster. And that is why I met with the fire chief to ensure that this is in place. It is in place. Monies has been set aside for that to ensure that the people of Winterville are safe. But what we need to do is, again, go back to that budget and look at it and see, are we really utilizing the revenue for the people? For example, we have non-town agencies that are getting thousands and thousands of dollars from the town, and not a penny is coming back to the residents. This is one of the questions that I asked. This is one of the questions that other fellow council peoples ask. For example, Watermelon Festival. We all love it. We enjoy it. However, $40,000 and $50,000 and not a cent coming back to the people should be a question, right? We need to ensure that there is opportunity and money's going to a community center that have been spoken about again for 20 years. There is monies, but we have to reappropriate it and cycle it back to make sure it's going to the people. We have $25,000 set aside. We have $50,000 awaiting until we're able to have that money to invest. Could I have another 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Also, we need monies to go into town-based transportation. This is what I've been speaking of. We have people walking around. We have the great bus that goes to Pitt Community College, but we need to invest some of that money to ensure public safety. And so people are not walking in the street who cannot drive. We have citizens who can't drive by age or disability, or just cannot afford a car. So that is how we should do it.
Thank you very much.
Incumbent Hawkins, the next question for you is, what role do you believe compromise should play in local government decision-making?
Please ask me that one more time.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
ma'am.
I just
It's
want
okay.
to make sure
Yes, ma'am. What role do you believe compromise should play in local government decision-making?
Well, compromise is always good. However, if it's at the cost of hurting the very people that put you in governance, then you should not compromise. This is where productive struggle comes. And some people see productive struggle as maybe being argumentative, divisive, troublesome. There is no compromise when I speak on behalf of what is needed for the people of Winterville. Now, for example, when I spoke for always stop signs at both Old Tar Road and Vernon White, as well as Boyd and Mill Street, there was some pushback in terms of, is it really an essential need? Yes, it is. It is public safety. It is people's lives. And I continue to put this on the agenda because there is no compromising a life, right? I mean, there are so many items that I have spoke to, and sometimes is deemed as, oh, let's just not talk about it. If you don't talk about it, it's still going to be there. Just because you're not talking about it doesn't mean it's not there. And as I shared once before, there are no brooms in the room, and we're not sweeping anything under the rug to move along in the agenda. There is absolutely no compromise when it comes to speaking on behalf of the needs of the people. Now, if there is some give and take, and if it's about what's needed for the people, or it could have been more compromised in terms of, can I have 30 seconds, in terms of the non-town agencies, we did have compromise for that. There was a lot of agencies outside non-town agencies that requested monies. And we as a town council decided, this is more essential. For example, the Chamber of Commerce is more essential than maybe another outside agency that is getting additional funding. So that is where compromise comes in.
Thank you so much. Mr. Moy, same question. What role do you believe compromise should play in local government decision-making?
The word common sense. And the reason why I just use that one term is you have policies, and you can have standards, then you have something called common sense, and you can't let situation just, they use you for a token, sort of. I call it a token, or just try to abuse the system. If common sense come with, if you leave your garbage can out and leave it open, or take it out there after the garbage man come by and pick it up, and you got some smelly items, and your neighbors, they got up and put theirs on out there, and you've been living beside this neighbor for a long period of time. For me, common sense is, I got an old little truck. Common sense would tell me I need to go and get that garbage and cat to the dumpster for them, and find out what's the reason and what's the cause and the purpose. Why did they leave their garbage there? Now, it could be because common sense, they might have been sick, they might be out of town, they had an emergency. Okay, but if they've been just laziness, then I'm going to contact the town manager or somebody, the sanitation department, to tell them, say, listen, we got a problem. My neighbor is just too lazy to go out there and get the garbage right quick. But anyway, to me, that is common sense. And to compromise, I would just go ahead on and get it first time. Second time, I want to find out the reason why. And third, some action going to be taken one way or the other. Please, somebody help me.
Thank you, Mr. Moy.
Yes.
Ms. Tyson, same question to you as well. What role do you believe compromise should play in local government decision-making?
To compromise, it's a wide range, but again, as Mr. Moy said, basically common sense. You need to know what the problem is, and then once you find out what the problem is, you go about it in a way that would be productive for both parties. To compromise something, you're really putting yourself at risk, because you don't know what the other party is going to be willing to do. So compromise is good in a way, but in a way it's not good.
Thank you so much.
Okay. My question is for you also, Mrs. Valerie Tyson, okay? And this is a two-part question, and you have 2 minutes. You know, you can use the first minute to ask the first part, and then how you feel that you want to do it, okay? But the question is there any thought given to create areas for preteens like Boys and Girls Club or something similar like boys mentoring? And the second part of this question is, do you have a passion to guide our children of the future?
Oh, first part.
Yes.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
There is a need for the youth. There is a need to see something more productive for the youth so that they can get out and explore and do things in the community that would help them as they grow older. That's as far as Boys and Girls Club. We have a Boys and Girls Club here in Winterville. Is that what you said?
Yeah, or it said the question came from the audience, or to create spaces or areas like Boys and Girls Club or something similar. I guess in addition to what we already have, I guess.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay.
I would love to see that occur in Winterville.
Okay.
I really would. And part B?
And your part B is you have a passion to guide our children.
Absolutely. I love children. I love people, period. But I have a passion for kids. I believe in mentoring them. I believe in guiding them in the right direction to the best of my ability. Mind you, every child is not going to be cooperative, but for those that are, I do have a passion to lead them in the right direction.
Thank you for that. Mr. Johnny Moy, same question. So I
Same.
need to repeat it, or you
Yes, repeat
repeat the
it.
question?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any thoughts given to, or are you planning to create areas for preteens like Boys and Girls Club or something similar like Boys Mentoring? I'm sorry. Second part of the question is, do you have a passion to guide our children of the future?
Yes.
You have 2 minutes.
Yes, I do. I'm going to say yes to both of those in the beginning before I forget. And secondly, I want to say that that's one of the non-agency funding that we do provide is to the Boys and Girls Club. So yes, I do support the Boys and Girls Club. Secondly, I support us having a multi-purpose building. That is a facility that we can use for our youth to expand. We do have, we have baseball, and we are a town that's considered as a town that developed good athletes in baseball and some in football. I think we got some football coaches in here and baseball coaches through the years. Even myself, coached a little bit. My son, he's a prime example. He started out as T-ball, right on up to Babe Ruth. Mr. Moore and myself used to coach. And also he ended up at D.H. Conlin High School. And my daughter, she started out pretty good until she got in the 8th grade. She just gave it up in sports. But there's other things, like music department. That's where she ended up into. I do have a passion for our kids. I want us to have things placed for our future. We don't know who that young man in the back there. He's very young. He might be the one that's going to give me my last glass of water. It might be my daughter. I don't know. So yes, I'm saying to us that whoever we have as a child here, we don't need to overlook them. Never look at a child just because of where they're at today.
Thank you.
Because tomorrow they might be someone that can give you your last glass of water.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And lastly, Ms. Chantel Hawkins, same question. Now, do you want me to repeat it or do you just want to answer? the
Please
question?
repeat it. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Now, bear with me here, okay? Is there any thought given or plans to create areas for preteens like Boys and Girls Clubs or something similar like boys mentoring? Second part of the question is, do you have a passion to guide our children of the future?
Yes, so I'll start out with the quote that says, youth care how much you know when they know how much you care. I've been an educator since 2005. I've taught 4th and 5th grade. I have 3 adult children, and the greatest investment we can make is in our youth. You said, what can we have and to create something in terms of like a Boys and Girls
Yeah,
Club?
or something similar, yes.
Oh, so that should be right here in the town. The multi-purpose community center that have been spoken about should be a priority. It should not be created. It should have been already. So this is something that we need to fast forward with. I am the founder of Youth Voices Matters. Youth voices do matter, right? I've learned this through being a mom, through being an educator, and every youth that we come in contact with, voice does matter. What is happening in our society is we have students that matriculate, they go to school, they go to high school, and then we cut them off. There needs to be a connection and a conduit. That is what Youth Voices Matter is. That is what Soul Purpose Advocacy is. That is what me speaking on the behalf of the youth here as a council person. That is why I go to the Hillcrest Park and I talk with each and every youth there in terms of what they need, right? And that is why I speak for what they need. They needed a water fountain that they just got when I identified it. But they need people, can I have another 30 seconds?
Yeah, you have 30 more seconds. That's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They need people to be in their lives outside of campaigning. They need people to be in their lives outside of Christmas season or birthdays. You need to be in the life of a youth when there is no lights around. They need to hear from you. They need your encouragement and your investments. I say, in terms of youth, let's not give them mug shots. Let's give them a shot. Let's be motivational. Let's be mentors, and let's mean it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We thank all of you all for answering all of the questions that have come in. At this time, we would like to move into our closing statement. So each of you will have 1 minute to offer your closing statement, beginning with Ms. Chantel Hawkins.
Thank you for this opportunity. I know I have 1 minute, so I'm going to talk fast. Not everything, James Baldwin says, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed if it is not faced. As your councilwoman, I have faced every concern, issue that have been brought to me. I did it with conviction, grace, persistence, dedication, because I value the voter, right? When you vote for someone, you are giving them the key to unlock opportunities for you, to unlock ideas, to unlock things that are deserved. You are also giving the person you vote for the key to block what you need. I am the strong voice and the right choice for the people of Winterville. Re-elect me. Re-elect Chantel Hawkins. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Moore?
Yes. I like to say we have a town is ready to move forward and willing to face challenge. It is necessary to have leaders that will listen and work towards a solution. I would say I am that candidate. I am available, I'm willing to listen, and I'm willing to do anything that I can for you. One thing I will not promise you, I won't promise you it will be done, anything that you ask of me. But I can promise you this, that I will place my best foot forward, because in order for you to do accomplish anything with the town councils, you have to have at least 3 votes. If you don't get 3 votes,
Time.
and my time is up,
Yeah.
and I thank you.
Okay.
You have
You
1
ready
minute now.
Yes.
Okay. I am again Valerie Tyson, and I would love to serve as your town council. No, I am not going to sit up here and tell you that everything is going to be hunky-dory if elected, because it's not, because we are a team, and teamwork requires everybody that's involved in it to come to a simple agreement of yes, we can. So with that being said, on November the 4th, well, really starting in October the 16th, I think, take me into full consideration as your candidate for town council. And I promise you, I will do all I can to meet the needs of the people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We want to take an opportunity to thank incumbent Chantel Hawkins, Mr. Johnny Moy, and Ms. Valerie Tyson. We could give them a hand if you all leave the table. Thank you. We are going to transition.
Can I say one thing? One. I just want to thank you all. Can I say this?
Actually, we need to transition real
Okay.
quick.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're sitting all too.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we are transitioning into the second half of our forum. I want to take this opportunity to make a couple of announcements. If you would please take a moment to silence all of your phones, please. If you are interested in checking your voter registration, or if you would like to register to vote, we do have a table out in the vestibule. We want to take this opportunity to also invite you all to our next forum that will be held on October the 7th in Farmville. It will be held at the Farmville Community Center, and that will be the forum for Farmville and Fountain. And that will be located at 3886 South Main Street. Do we have any other elected officials to come in? I want to take an opportunity to recognize you if there was. Okay. Also, please be mindful that voting time is upon us. So October the 3rd, we will begin with the issuance of absentee ballots. October the 10th, there's the voter registration deadline. October the 16th, we will begin with the in-person early voting, same day registration. Absentee ballot request deadline will be October the 21st. In-person early voting will end on November the 4th. And you know, election day is also November the 4th, ending at 7:30 p.m. As we move to the next part of our forum, we are going to invite the candidates for Town of Winterville Mayor to come to the table. Mr. Ricky Hines, who is the incumbent, Mr. Tony Moore, and Mr. Ken Pierce. I'm sorry. And just a reminder to the candidates, when your 2 minutes end, your 30 seconds will automatically roll in, so you do not have to request that additional 30 seconds, all right? Moderators, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, we would like to give you a 1 minute for your introductory statement. Beginning with Mr. Hines.
Good evening. My name is Ricky Hines. I'm currently the mayor here in Winterville. I've been here in Winterville for 23 years. Raised two sons, both went to South Central, and presently have one there now. He's a junior at South. I was born in Bethel, North Carolina, and I'm currently USDA employee, which is now on furlough. So I'm looking a job. So, but glad to have y'all here tonight. Looking forward to the forum.
Okay, thank you very much. And now we will have your 1 minute introduction, Mr. Moore. Tony Moore.
I'm really proud of this supporting part development, land of game, tax increase, cemetery not been lost, so sidewalk, building, all the things that we would make.
Okay, thank you very much. And Mr. Ken Perch?
Pierce.
Pierce. Sorry.
So right here.
We apologize. It's printed in the program.
I know, it's printed in there.
Differently.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay, so my name is Ken Pierce.
Pierce.
I am not Pierce, Perch. It's Pierce. I've got 4 kids. I'm married, and they're all grown. I'm pretty proud of them. My youngest, as a matter of fact, is starting her first semester at NC State, and it means a lot to me that she's going to NC State because, you see, I'll tell you something about myself. I come from poverty, and some of you may have been in poverty, and you know what poverty means. And poverty hurts. And part of what makes me me is that I've overcome a lot of that and made something out of myself. And one of the first parts of overcoming poverty is education. Education has a lot to do with that. Okay? When you have nothing, sometimes the only way to get ahead is through education. And so part of that, before I even went to college, I did Army. I did the Army infantry. I did 3 years active Army.
Okay.
And then I got 30 seconds, right?
Well, 1 minute for just your introductory statement, but I have another question for you.
Sure.
Okay. We'll move into our general questions. And so I'll begin with you, Mr. Pierce, Mr. Ken Pierce. And I have a question that has to do with the Americans with Disabilities Act. If you could answer that for me. It says that towns, governments in North Carolina are being held accountable for not completing the mandates of the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, that were to go into effect July of 1992. What will you do if elected to office to ensure that this federal law is followed by ensuring that all programs and places are accessible to everyone who has a disability?
Okay, well, the ADA Act has been around for quite some time, and it's been through a number of evolutions. Now, the basic idea is that everybody has a right to access. That's what it comes down to. Now, one of the things that you have to realize is that access does not mean that you have to be guaranteed access. All right, just because a building doesn't have an appropriate entryway, such as a ramp or whatever, doesn't mean you have to fix it today. It doesn't have to be fixed today. Now, new construction, that's a different matter altogether, of course. But the way that you have to go about it is that with the regulations and the zoning and so forth, is that when we build new things, of course, they have to be ADA compliant. That we have to do. But the fact that we had to have it done by, what'd you say, 92?
Yeah, July of 1992.
92.
Yeah.
92 has been a long time ago. And we're not quite there. And it's like everything else in this world. We're never going to be quite there at 100% with everything, no matter what you do. So you do the best you can. You do the best you can. You see something that's broke, you fix it. Okay? You use common sense. You don't just let it sit there. And that's where we really get in trouble. Where we get in trouble as a city, as a country, whatever, is where something, we know it's broken. We know it needs to be done. But then we just let it go. We say, okay, someone got hurt. And the first question that comes out of people's minds is, did you know? And if you knew, what'd you do about it? So documentation goes a long ways towards that. You don't have to spend the money right away.
Excuse me, could you speak into your mic, Mr. Pierce?
I'm sorry, I teach, and I don't usually use a microphone. The bottom line is that you have to fix these things, but you don't have to fix them today. All right, that's the bottom line. And they'll get fixed one day.
Okay, thank you very much. And I have the same question for Mr. Tony Moore. Do I need to repeat it or you have it? Okay, thank you.
Years ago.
Mhm.
Also, it's 820. Remember that carries the trailer, that small, special education.
Mhm.
It has-
Pull your mic towards you a little
and
bit.
School city, school to be trained, special teachers. Also, solid economic work. Train, found out students and to support resources in town about veterans.
On Mill Street from Main Mill to Dick's Queen. My cousin Ronald Hines has not spoke to me since then. I recluse myself from voting because he's my first cousin. That much land he has not spoke to me in 5 years. So even though we grew up right beside each other, I inherited his home place. But anyway, I shouldn't have said that. Maybe he had opinion. I should have involved myself. But anyway, my mother had an accident when I was 16 years old. She was unconscious 3 months. Woke up, didn't know her name, how to walk and talk. So I remember about pushing her around in a wheelchair. Been there and done that. I was a state commissioner agent. I was a state senator. I know about nursing homes. I'm president of South Camp Gitkins. I visit a lot of nursing homes twice a year, motels. There are 12 nursing homes in my district. And I'm proud we've raised a lot of money for Bibles to help people.
Okay, thank you very much. And we have the same question for Mr. Ricky Hines. Do I need to repeat or you think you have?
I haven't.
Okay.
He was asking about 88.
Yeah.
Winterville has received a accessory grant through the Parks and Rec to look at accommodations for ADA. We also have a SS4A grant that has been awarded also to the town of Winterville. So we're in the process of taking care of and looking at all our accessory needs. We're looking at all parks. We're looking at all our infrastructure as far as our sidewalks are concerned to make everything in compliance. We understand the need for everybody to be able to get around. So that's what we're doing. And these things are already, when you got a staff that's ahead of the game and you have the department heads that are always looking into the future. So we're already assessing these things already.
Okay, thank you. All right. You have a question?
Okay, we'll start with you, incumbent Ricky Hines.
Mhm.
Okay. The town of Winterville received an amazing gift of a traffic garden from the statewide organization Bike Walk NC. So many kids from around Pitt County come here for a variety of training classes, but there are no bike lanes to or from the park, making it dangerous. Parents then have to drive their kids to and from the park. The one school nearby has a bike lane along the road to its back, but it gets used by drivers parking their cars and trucks in it. What will you do to improve safer cycling for everyone in our town, but especially to and from the BWNC traffic garden area?
Well, I'm very excited about the traffic garden area. That was one of the, I said, milestones for our town, for our community, because you're right. A lot of people do come by and visit at. We host a lot of events out there. I've been out there several times. I was out there this past summer where the HBCUs brought in 33 students from all over with Department of Transportation. We helped kids train to ride bikes. It was great. It was a great time. They even worked in the park. They did community service, and they was there on Juneteenth, and it was fantastic. As far as the bike lanes are concerned, yeah, there's a bike lane down on Jones Street that comes, and right now I think our roadways are not built for bike lanes, so we have to look at that. But because they was built before everybody was cycling. And I am a big component of cycling because every 4th of July, I meet with all the cyclists that comes into Winterville. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I go out there and I greet them. And they've been trying to get me to ride with them. And I bought an electric bike. I didn't buy one of them expensive bikes, but I got me an electric bike. So I might venture into getting out there with them sometime. But also, too, I have spoken with the 413 riders, and they're looking to host a cycling event right here out of Winterville. So, there's a lot of things that we can do with our traffic garden, and this has been a big success. So I'm very proud of it.
Thank you.
I've been in charge of bicycle races around town. I rode a bike to work this morning. I'm up at 4:30 every morning. I'm at the gym and I see at 5:30 East Carolina University. I'm one of the first people there every morning, 3 days a week. I was there this morning in the pool. I understand all the people on the highways who are on the highways not going the correct direction, not having enough the clothes of bright colors in the morning. You'll be amazed how dangerous it is on our highways in Winterville at 5. I leave at house at 5:50 and be there by 5:30. You would be amazed at that. Also, the Governor's Highway Safety Program gives me 100 helmets here to give away to kids. As an educator all my life, I know how important it is. I've taught people who had head injuries. It's sad. It's very sad. I've taught students of every caliber of disability you can name. And I know how safety is. Unless you have a mother who's been disabled, you just woke up after 3 months, not know her name, how to walk, talk. You hadn't been walking with shoes for 43 years. It makes you think about people's safety. And bicyclists need to be safer, kept safe. And that's why we did a sidewalk from one school to the other. But so many people walk in the road. It's amazing. I see, but I don't use the sidewalks. They don't do that. So we need to tell those people, how about, get on the sidewalk, use it, and not down the middle of the road. I said, no telling how many people from here to East Carolina University I've seen walking the road. Across the road. It's very sad. So as a safety officer of the town of Winterville, I have concerns too, but I've been going to East Carolina University for 22 years. I'm surprised other alumni don't use that facility, even though I'm an alumni of East Carolina, Appalachian State, UNC Chapel Hill, and Barton College. And safety is a major issue for me, being in the safety business all my life.
Thank you, Mr. Tony Moore.
You're welcome.
Mr. Pierce, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I've got it. Thank you. One of the things I've noticed since I've been in Winterville, and I've been here for a little while at least, bicycle lanes. We don't really have them here. Not that I've seen, or at least if they're hidden away if we got them. All right. I've lived in some other cities that had actual bike lanes, so I know what they look like. And if you've never seen them, they literally have painted lines on the side of the road. I never assume that people have seen the same things. There are other cities that have done that. Now, Does that make it necessarily safer? Well, you have to have the cooperation of the drivers as well. I had an employee at a business that I ran some years ago, and she got nailed in one of those. And it was like, even if you're inside those lines, for those bike lanes, it don't mean you're gonna make it. That's for sure. Okay, where someone's not gonna try to run you over. Now, what's the solution? Now, what I have seen that works well as far as making our community more bikeable, more walkable is, well, first off, you got to have sidewalks. I know we got to have sidewalks. Now, I really love the fact that at least new construction, it looks like sidewalks. I don't know if they're mandated or if they're just put in there by the developers. That's great. But as we make any sort of improvements, I think one of the things that we should really focus on is that if we go in and say, lay some new fiber optic or something along those lines, well, here's the opportunity. We're already digging up their yard. What's to say that we can't put in the sidewalks at the same time? Upgrade as we go. We're upgrading as we speak. I don't know if you've seen like all these cable guys running around. They're digging up yards and such. Well, here's your opportunity. And here's an idea maybe you haven't thought about is, look, what is there to say that as you have these competitors coming in to put in the infrastructure, that part of their licensing or regulation is that they're required to upgrade not just the cables that are going underneath the grounds, but here's an idea. What's to say that you can't say, well, if you're going to fix this, I want you to put in so many hundreds of feet of sidewalk for every mile that you do, and have them at least be a partner for the accessibility. They're already there digging up the yard.
Thank you, Mr. Pierce.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pierce. We have another question for you, brand new off the paper. So, what do your constituents need that have not been met yet?
Well, I do talk to people. That's part of what we do. One of the things that I've heard over and over again, and maybe this is a touchy subject, I'm not sure, is recycling. Recycling is something that I've heard over and over again from my constituents. It's not really the top, what I'd call a top burner sort of question, but it is something that has reached the attention level of being where it's at least a little bit. So my constituents, the people that I talk to, they're like, that's one of the first things that they want me to look at. It's like, is this the best way to go with every other week for recycling? I don't know about y'all, but my recycling is stacked. Not by 2 weeks. It's more like a week and a half. It's stacked. Mostly filled up with Amazon boxes. Of course, a lot of people have Prime. That's one thing. We generate a lot of boxes. That's one of the big issues that I've seen is recycling, getting that under control. Because right now it's just spilling out. Now the thing about recycling is if you can't put it in the recycling bin, which is good for everything, good for everybody, where does it go? It doesn't go in the recycling bin. Where does it end up? Ends up in the trash, ends up in the landfill, doesn't get recycled. We have to pay for it one way or another. And so the question comes up, is it a situation where this is the best possible policy having the every other? And just because Aidens do it or one of these other cities is doing it doesn't mean it's the best way to go. Does it mean that this is all we got, or is it something where with my constituents, are they willing to pay an extra $2 a month? Is that worth having recycling every week instead of every two weeks? I don't know, but it's one of the things that I've been asked about to look closely at is our recycling situation. It is a real problem.
Thank you so much for your answer. Mr. Moore, same question for you.
We need, I started with Town of Winterville back to 73. I would have 17 youth work with me. The federal government paid me every week. I was not paid. 2 years after I left, I still gave my time in summers for 5 years total. I'm very proud of that. been mentoring young men and older men all my life. I supply housing for people who've been out of prison, who don't have jobs. I supply jobs for those people. At this time, I'm working with a 17-year-old, 19-year-old. They've been in at least 20 foster homes. I supply them a place to stay, jobs, and education. I got enrolled at Pitt Community College last week. I'm proud that I've worked hard for every student I've performed I had. I've had people who get out of prison, need a place to stay, get out of the hospital, need to have a place to stay. The Lord has had me earn enough money to take care of those people. At one time, I had 3 adult men I took care of when they just got out of mental institution. 2 of them just got out of a hospital, 24 and 16 days, had no place to go, so I took care of them. One of them paid all the expenses for a year. We all need to help out the other fellow man, especially those who have a desire to help your fellow man each and every day. Everybody's important.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moore. Incumbent Hines, same question for you.
Repeat it, please.
Sure. What do your constituents need currently that has not been met?
Well, what our constituents need is some mixed use type of housing and pretty much, I heard the word earlier, affordable housing. Affordable housing, I can say, is different for everybody. Affordable, I'm in the housing arena, so I know pretty much, I see it today, day to day, but around here in Winterville, we need some, I'm not saying a lot of apartments, but we need some type of rental apartments so that people can transition from a renter to a homeowner. Because everybody is not meant to be a homeowner. Some people are meant to be renters. And we need to make sure that we have that piece that they can come in and rent and see if they really like the town of Winterville. So that's why I'm saying mixed use. So that's what I think that we're missing here. We have some apartments that are rentals and they have a waiting list, and that's 1311. They have a waiting list. So we just need to add some. Well, we can't go full blown because you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you gradually do it, because I think 86% of the people here in Winterville own their homes. And so that speaks volume. And when you have a community that 86% of the people own their own home. So, and we want to make sure that we keep going that route.
Thank you.
Okay, my question is also for you, Mr. Ricky Hines. You have 2 minutes as usual to respond. Now, on the topic of police public relations, how would you help bridge the gap between law enforcement and public trust?
How will I bridge the gap? I think our police department is doing a great job. Our police department is trying to foster community relations. They have coffee with the cops. I attend coffee with the cops every month with them. And I think now that they have instituted a senior program that they check on seniors. So I think we're doing the right thing as far as with community policing, trying to reach out to them. And as a council, we have to make sure that we're fostering that same energy. We got to be there to support our officers. And, that's what we got to do. The short answer is keep doing what we're doing, but we need to do better. And that's what we strive to do as a town, and we're going to do better.
Okay, thank you for that response. Same question.
Okay, I'll start with
Mr.
the answer. At one time, we didn't have a police officer, so I drove a car around. And this is people that said the police car. They're very important. My father-in-law served here from 1941 to 1962. Learned all about policing. And but also I'll add, I'll come back to it in a few minutes. Shamrock and Weatherton Heights were both built on FHA housing. You paid 25% of your income for housing. We also did 30 homes one year at no cost to people. We took 30 homes. We've renovated them at no cost, period, to the public. A friend of mine's doing, I called him a year ago. He's doing 6,000 homes in 4 states. He's doing 6,000 homes in 4 states. He gets tax credits to do that. He built 2 facilities in Greenville at 42 million and 55 million. And he had to have a certain percentage of homes that were toward the poor. So it can be done. Reynolds May did those homes. So most of those houses in Winston Heights, Pound Robinson, and Shamrock, of course, the post office were built. It cost from 19 to 24,000 back when I was supposed to be a building inspector, supposedly. And you did. My brother-in-law bought one of those homes. His wife still lives there. It's very important. But we had cameras with police officers to make it safe. I know it's very tough to get police officers today. You need to reciprocate. We're told as a driver's ed teachers how to respond. I teach the class myself because I talk about police officers, how you respond to them and how they respond to you. And I think it's very important. Sometimes I teach classes myself for that purpose. And it's very important to be a communicator. I thoroughly enjoy what I do. And I love every student I've ever had. I saw in a courtroom not long ago. Police officers are just like anybody else. But they need to be warm to them throughout both ways. I think a police officer does an excellent job. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for that response, Mr. Ken Pierce. Same question. Would you like for me to repeat the question or would you?
That's all right.
Okay.
I'd like to piggyback on what is said about affordable housing, and it was brought up by Chantel and some others. When I moved here 10 years ago, I bought a house off of Leewood, and I got a bargain. Let me tell you, it was $161,000, and it's just a hair over 2,000 square feet. And maybe, you might be thinking $161,000 is not a bargain. But have you been to Charlotte or Raleigh? I looked at housing prices out in Charlotte. Do you think it's bad here?
And so if I could interject for a minute, the question was on the topic of police,
right.
public relations.
And I'll get back to it in just a second. I looked at houses in Charlotte and they were like $1 million, $750,000 for my little house, same size, same sort of neighborhood. Now it's going for about $300,000 just in 10 years. So a lot of it's economics. It's economics. And what's affordable for you is maybe not affordable for someone else, and so forth. Now, addressing the police. Police is a sticky situation. Nobody likes encounters with police. I don't like encounters with police, believe it or not. When I see the police, and they always find me when I'm speeding, I'm one of those guys. Yep, I'm that guy, speeding down the road. And, when you see that blue light, I have to tell you, they say if you ain't got nothing going on, you ain't got no reason to be afraid. But I tell you, even with a speeding ticket, look at me, you might say I shouldn't be afraid, but I'm afraid. When the police pull me over, I'm afraid. I'm afraid something bad's going to happen. And I'm 61 years old, and I still feel like something bad's going to happen.
Okay, thank you very
Thank you
much.
for
In
your
the
time.
interest of time,
Okay.
we want to just keep moving on. We're running into the evening. The clock is ticking. And so I have another question for you, Mr. Pierce, if you could answer this question. The city of Winterville is taking steps to improve traffic safety and to improve traffic fatalities. Do you have any suggestions? What can be done to improve traffic flow and public safety in Winterville?
Well, I tell you, I was talking to Mr. Moore over here, Tony, and he said, well, you know what? Greenville has the worst traffic, what was the worst accident rate in the state, or pretty close to it. And,
4 out of 5 years.
In 5 years?
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5 years. Well, you're going to be good at something, at least be good at it, right? So, but, safety, one of the things, safety has to do with design a lot of times. I'm a frustrated engineer in training in a sense, and you can design a lot of safety into things. And for instance, the TAR widening improvement project that's fixing to come up in our little slice of heaven over here. It's going to make things better if you have like the center turn lanes and so forth. It's just improving the roads that you got to bring them up to the standards for the flow. I think that's about all you can do. Now, what makes our drivers here particularly ranking right up there out of 4 or 5 years? I couldn't tell you. Now, you could blame the fact that we're a college town, but I don't know if that's really fair. We do have a fairly young population. But I tell you, it's just the way things are. People are very focused on things other than driving, is what it comes down to. And education is the only thing that we can do, is have our police take care of it. Public education, what do we need to do to make sure that we're all safe? These are things that we can do. Somebody's got to be in last place, though. That's the way I look at it. So it's bad, but maybe it could be a lot better, but it could be a lot worse too. Is the way I look at it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And I had the same question for Mr. Tony Moore. Would you like me to repeat it, or you?
That's okay.
Okay.
I asked Senator Bass tonight, when I was your state senator, the curb and gutter sidewalk, the entire length of Main Street. That's why it's done. We need our representatives to do the same thing. We listed streets that need to be improved with sidewalks. We said Mill and Cooper are very important. We should have got money from the General Assembly. There's no excuse for it. The roads in whatever we have. And I moved here in 1989. I built my second house. Built my first house when I was 25 years old. I always had at least 3 jobs, and I had $7,000. Built up 28,000. Came to it up in 1989. They were supposed to 5-lane that road in 2002. What year is it? I'm sarcastic. I'm sorry. It's too long. Now people are backed up every morning. That means they get to work late and they get ill. You get to work because of the traffic. But we didn't do anything about it. We didn't say anything about it. We need to have a meeting with our representatives, state house members, and say, why not? Why not? Why'd you put off another 5 years for it? And I got on my phone, the video was supposed to look like. That's 2002. It was supposed to be done a couple years ago. There's no excuse for that. It's ridiculous. But you have to push. And I'm not sure we've done the right things. Even going to South Central High School, that road, high school on a 2-lane road, come on now. Should be in a better location like J.H. Rose is. So it's only got one each way. It's very important for our transportation system to be improved, but we got to ask for it. We got to push for it. We got to lobby. I have a full-time lobbyist that works for me in Raleigh. So I've been going since 1985. I push. They went to do away with my program a couple of years ago. I did ads. Association didn't. I said, I want either you fund me, I'm going to do negative ads for you. I did. I kept my program going. You've got to fight. You got to have a lobbyist. If you want housing for your community, you need to ask for a grant writer to do it for, and they get a percentage of the grant writer. I wrote a grant one time to just improve the ownings and businesses downtown. It took me 15 minutes. I finally did, and I signed off on it. It's not hard. I have a program called Youth Investments where I receive money to do things for people too. It's not rocket scientists.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Ricky Hines, as the incumbent, what have you seen in terms of the traffic fatalities and the traffic safety, and what can be done to improve traffic flow and public safety in Winterville?
What we've done, we have created a task force called Vision Zero Task Force, which is made up of someone from the Department of Transportation, someone from the clergy community, police department, the city of Greenville, the town of Winterville, and the fire department. And we meet and we come together and we talk about different items, roadways, all different types of scenarios. We just finished up it was a and get it right. Lord, it skips my mind right now, but I know basically a contest for the students to draw a safety. What was for our safety vision? Help me out, Luther. What was it? I can't remember.
Vision board?
Vision, right. Well, it wasn't a vision board, but they draw the vision thing out, and we awarded a winner for it. A young lady, she won a nice scooter, electric scooter. So those are some of the things that we do to try to foster, trying to cut down on fatalities. We know that there are fatalities, but we're trying to make sure that we are promoting the right stuff here in Winterville for pedestrian as well as motorists. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Incumbent Ricky Hines, this one is for you specifically.
Okay.
For those, as you are an incumbent, what service has you provided for your constituents for them to vote for you again?
It's not just me, what I provided. I think we as a council, we have provided a lot of good things for our citizens. It's not me, because remember, as a mayor, I don't have a vote. It's the council that has the vote, but I'm there to help foster along what we need to do. We have implemented utilities assistant programs with Green Lamp, $85 a one-time energy assistant. We have achieved a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting in 21, 23, and 24. We're actually on the way with our master plan with the fire department. Our town employees safety manual is underway. We completed our ISO rating, which we received a class 2 rating, 1 out of 88 in the state of North Carolina. We have hosted the North Carolina Fire Prevention Safety Symposium along with Pitt Community College. So we are working as a team, as a tandem, as far as the council is concerned. So it's not I, it's what we do as a town.
Thank you, Mr. Hines. For the challengers, Mr. Moore.
Okay. Pushed, I was on the same committee, pushed for banning on Mill and Lebanon is the most dangerous intersection in Pitt County, and they do nothing about it, period. We just need some TV coverage to make that known. When I came on the board, we left the city of Greenville, and Winterville had power before Greenville. We sold power to them into 1947. So we left them in my second year, got a 35% reduction in natural gas. Reduced it again, and got a 20% reduction. Now we have a power plant in Kings Mountain. I pushed for that also. Twice I'm on the board, reduced it during the terrible time of the pandemic, 10% per month, several months. Our water rate is now half what it is at Ayden and in Grifton because we did not get involved with WASA. We still use our wells and half from Greenville. So our water rate's exactly half. Sewer, same way. We decided my only term on the sewer board, Metropolitan Sewer District, which is Ayden, Winterville, Grifton. For 40 years, it was based on our growth. We were unfairly treated. So we got it according to flow. That reduced our cost tremendously. The park, myself and 11 other people bought land for the first park in Winterville. We built the park, and then we gave it to the town of Winterville. I pushed for the library. We have a nice library now. I've renovated buildings downtown, 6 of them, and then I sold them off. I supply the cheapest housing of anybody. My houses go from $600 a month to $1,200. That's a 2-bedroom to a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. I try to be the cheapest rent there is. Commercially, I like to take advantage of people. So I've done my best. I got an office in downtown Winter. People know they can come all the time, see me anytime they want to come by. I'm very friendly. Like Mr. Moy is very friendly. Always.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Mr. Pierce, would you like me to repeat the question for the
Please.
Okay. What make you most available for this position as mayor? And what expertise can you provide in order for my vote to you and not the incumbent?
Well, I'm new to politics. And I've not been through all of this. So I have no preconceived notions as to what we can do, what we can't do. I'm gonna have to learn, of course. What I can bring to it is what I've learned from a lifetime of living, and that is you have to be a servant towards the people that you're working for. In the sense of I'm working for everyone. When I'm teaching, I teach at Pitt Community College, by the way, and when I'm in the classroom, it's more of a collaboration. It is helping them get to where they need to be in their lives. And it's the same thing for the city. We got to help the city get to where it needs to be. If that means that, we have bike lanes with dividers in them, which is where I was trying to get before. Well, that's one of the things that we have to do. What can I bring from my experience? Well, I've been a manager for many, many years. I've managed lots and lots and lots of people. I've been responsible for many, many millions of dollars budgets in Fortune 100 companies. I've run chemical plants. I've run all sorts of kinds of people. So I have the practical day-to-day experience throughout my career of being able to manage large things with lots of moving pieces, and moving pieces that are changing by the minute and by the hour. I've had as many as 300 people working for me in a plant, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And part of that, and I take this into what I'm even doing today as a professional educator, is being availability. And that's part of the reasons why I'm even running, is to be available. When I ask for something, I expect, to at least get a response. And that is what I can give Winterville is even when I'm teaching, even on Saturdays and Sundays, I'm still helping people. We don't stop working, or at least I do. I don't stop working just because it's 5 o'clock on Friday. Of course, I don't have 5 o'clock on Fridays, just a few seconds. The availability
Time.
is important.
We
That's
have to
what it
move
comes
on,
down to.
sir. Thank
Okay.
you very much for your response.
Thank you so much. New question for you. How will you work with other council members to bring in more revenue without raising taxes or putting more of a burden on the residents? And that's for Mr. Pierce.
Well, you can't raise revenue without money coming in. So if you're talking about not raising burdens on our citizens here, which means taxes, the only alternative from there is grants. That's the only thing that you've got left. Grant, either state, federal, or whatever grants, which means you have to have someone who knows how to write grants. Now, fortunately, I have written a few grants, not in a governmental, but from an educational standpoint. I'm sure the process is tremendously different. So that's definitely about the only way I can think of is to aggressively pursue the projects that we want. We got to get the money from it somewhere, and you're not going to get it not easily from the citizens. That's for sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your response. Mr. Moore, same question. How will you work with other council members to bring in more revenue without raising taxes or putting more of a burden on the residents?
Well, as a citizen whose both parents were disabled, my check growing up was $43.50 a month. And I worked for food. I would push for decrease the taxes. When we met with Pitt County for a business coming here one time, first thing I asked 2 questions. I said, what is the tax rate of the 2 competitive businesses? County people didn't know. What? You don't know? What's the water rate? They didn't know. What's the utility rate? They didn't know. I said, what do you know? What's going to bring people here? Lower taxes. We gave that business 5 years of no taxes, 5 years of lower utility rates, and it worked. And it's important you have lower taxes for everybody. As a meter reader, in 1974 in February, I had to cut off one of every 10 houses. I didn't like that at all. So you have your lights cut off, you don't know how it is. And you just have to, I gave them a chance. Some people, I broke a few rules. One of my tenants here, remember, I charge you, what, $100 a month to that office, remember that? You have cheap facilities. And you try to get businesses here, encourage businesses here to have lower rates for all those things. Then they will move here. We need to have more industry here. We've got a piece of property outside town. There's been all kinds of talk about it. It's not been developed yet. Why not? We hadn't done a good job. Have an economic developer. The county has done a good job of bringing that business here with jobs. It's been sitting there, and these people have been paying taxes every single year. It's L'Oreal Road extension from Mill to Highway 11. It's no excuse for that length of time not having a business there, a mall there. They did come up with a business to want to put in a selling cars online from insurance companies. We didn't like that. We didn't go to another location. It would not look like good for us to have all junk cars along the highway. Then had a company bringing his athletic facilities there. They pulled out from that. But we need to really push for that area to be grown for jobs for people. People like sports. Kids like sports. And, not having a gymnasium, but town outside. Aden has a gym. Farm has a gym. And half our size. Why don't we have a gym? Last 2 years, what does the board do to have a gym?
Thank you, sir.
Incumbent Hines, same question. Would you like it repeated as
Please,
well?
ma'am.
Yes, sir. How will you work with your council members as getting elected again, if that is possible, to bring in more revenue without raising taxes or putting more of a burden on the residents?
I think we look at what we are doing now and see if anything that we can do to reduce or cut. As a elected official, sometimes you got to make hard decisions. The hard decisions are not decisions that sometimes that people want to hear. But if people want to have uses or being able to have things, you got to understand that comes with a cost. And, if you want to decrease, then we got to let stuff go. If you want to increase, we got to raise it. So we got to look at that. We got to listen to the citizens and determine what they want. As a council, the council's got to make sure that they're listening and make a decision whether, is where can we cut? And talking to the citizens to let them know if this is what you want, we got to cut this. It might not be that quote unquote, what we've been hearing, multi-purpose center. Because if you want that center, you got to figure out how you're going to pay for that center. And if you want it, that means that your taxes may go up. So there's a balance there. Sometimes we want things, but we don't realize you got to pay for these things. And who's going to pay for these things? It's on the citizens.
Thank you. Also, Mr. Hines, my question for you is, and again, as usual, you have 2 minutes to respond to it. What will you do to ensure issues of public safety are addressed across the board? Crime, mental illness, after school programs, etc.
what would I do, you saying,
Yeah,
to address?
ensure issues of public, what will you do to ensure issues of public safety are addressed across the board, including crime, mental illness, after school programs, et cetera?
Well, as far as crime, I mean, always having a conversation with my manager and also with the police chief. That's where you got to start. Understand the citizens of Winterville, they get the police department sometimes get a bad rap saying, I heard someone say that we're called trap. Trap, really? I want to live in a community that I feel safe. I don't want to live in a community that is crime ridden. So I think our police department does a great job. We're holding the ranking sometimes of being the 7th safest city. We have been as high as the 4th safest city, so that speaks volume, because when you come to Winterville, you know that our officers are doing their job. And if I'm a homeowner, I feel safe because I know that our police department is protecting us. Now, as far as mental illness, that is a big thing, community-wide, nationwide, and it's something that we have to get a grasp on, but that's beyond us here in the town of Winterville. That goes all the way up to the federal level, because when you start cutting Medicaid, Medicare, and all that, that trickles down to us, down from the state level down all the way to the local level. And we have resources through Trillium and all that. And so, that's who we got to work with. And we got to work with the school system as well.
Okay. All right, thank you for your response. Mr. Tony Moore, you have the same questions. Again, as usual, you have 2 minutes to respond. Now, would you like me to repeat the question, or you have? Okay.
Well, we had one nursing home in town that's closed down. We don't have a nursing home in town. We need to go out and encourage one to be built here. We need to encourage a facility like Wilmington has, or those who have mental issues. Have some land available for them. We got lots of land we bought, we're not using it all. Encourage them to come here and build facilities. But you got to market yourself. Notify the nursing homes. We'd like to come to Winterville. We offer you lower taxes for 5 years, lower utility rates for 5 years. And you get the increase from that money come from building industry. Industry brings in money because equipment you get from that, better jobs, better travel so far. But we need to worry about mental health. One of every 4 people there is going to have mental health issues, and we all have to have them in this society we're in at this time. And our officers do an excellent job. I hear no complaints about them whatsoever, because we've had cameras from the very beginning. We were the first town in Pitt County to have officers that had the radar way back. And I forget, the mayor came on TV, said, I'm taking the radar, I won't say a name, away from my police officers. That was not a good thing to do by mayor back then. But we do have a good name. I do hear a lot of loud motorcycles, a lot of loud trucks. I asked at one time, my former mayor, when to sue us if we took them off Highway 11. I've always said, let Highway 11 be highway patrol. That's in the city limits. Stay in town, officers. Stay in town. But police this area at all times, not on Highway 11. He threatened to sue us. The first time he said anything about it, but last time he did. But we need to address mental health. We have a conversation, a conference about it. You want to talk about it and have facilities here. What can we all do to love each other even more? But churches are growing in Winterville.
Okay, thank you. In the interest of time.
Okay. Also, there's the same question for you, Mr. Ken Pierce. Do you like for me to repeat the question, or?
No, I'm good. Thank
Okay.
you. All right,
Could you pull your mic up to you a little bit?
One thing that's impressed me about Winterville is the police coverage. I have never felt more safer being in Winterville than I have anywhere else. And I've lived in a lot of different places, small towns, big towns, towns in between, big cities, whatever. I have never felt more safer than here. And it says a lot about our police department. It really does. I can walk through my neighborhood and not have a care in the world. And everybody, and I live, by the way, I live out in Clevewood. I don't know if you know, that's across from Food Line. And I tell you, it's a very walkable area. My little slice of heaven, little slice, I guess we call it slice of good life, but my little slice of heaven is very walkable. We don't have sidewalks. We hardly need them. But I tell you, every now and then I see Winterville police, they come through, and it makes me feel good because I can just wave to them and they wave back. That's good. You know, it's not like, you know, here we are, you know, here we are, you know, it's like, no, it's more of it's this good community sort of thing. And I like that. I really do. I've never experienced that anywhere else. And I really hope that we keep it that way. We keep it that way, you know, where we're not afraid of the local police here. I can tell you, I've been afraid of them in other cities, but not so much here. It's very nice. I would like to see the police tagging on what Tony said here. I would like to see them stay in town. I would like to see them stay in town. Say it's Highway 11. What is that? Highway Patrol. It should be. I agree. It should be Highway Patrol. Focus on what's going on here locally. I am a believer in what's called the broken window theory. I got a few seconds here. And that is, you take care of the small stuff and the big stuff will take care of itself.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank all of you all very much for your responses to our questions. We will now move into our closing statements, and you will have 1 minute for your closing statement, beginning with you, Mr. Ken Pierce.
All righty. Well, thank you for having me tonight. I appreciate it. This has been a really, really interesting experience. I've never done anything like this before. It's really interesting to hear what some of our council members have to say. I've met some of them for the very first time. Some of them I've met some previous events. And at the very least, I appreciate being able to see some of the inner workings of what goes on with this sort of thing. What can I bring? Look, I'm a manager. I've always been a manager. I know how to run processes, people. I know how regulations work. And if I don't know the answer, I know how to ask people for the answers. You know, I don't have all the answers. And that's one thing of growing up, is you realize pretty quick you ain't got the answers to everything. That's for sure. But I do value the input of the various people that I'm going to be representing.
Thank you very much. Mr. Moore, Mr. Tony Moore, 1 minute.
You've all sat here all this time. You ought to give yourself a hand. You've done one. To put us through this. Thank you for having this audience, and thank you for people's ability to see what we have on our minds, what we've done and so forth. Thank you, each one of you served. Thank you, Judge. You got a tough job in this society, a very tough job. But I'm looking forward to the next thing I do. I'm doing Veterans Day. I hope you'll come on November 11th. I've been doing that. This is my 25th year. My father was a veteran. He went to war at 16. He sent him back home. He was too young, but back at 17, he said, it's a shame we don't honor our veterans more. We got to have those veterans keep our communities stronger, a nation stronger. So every time we meet a veteran, we pat them back again. They are very, very important. And every time we have a police officer, be very nice to them also. They got a tough, tough job. Thank you again for being here, all of you.
Thank you very much. And the incumbent, Mr. Ricky Hines.
Again, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for coming to the we. As I like to say, because Winterville starts with a W, ends with an E, and it's we. We are Winterville, and we are a slice of the good life. And if you continue to have me, and I will help you get to the slice of the good life, as being a mayor, being that face, being in the arena that I need to be in to bring things back to Winterville. That's my job as the mayor of Winterville, is to be out front, to be the head cheerleader for this town, and to make sure that we bring everything that we need to make the citizens around here feel safe, feel comfortable, feel at home. That's what I'm talking about. I'm glad to see everybody out here. Thank y'all for coming, and I appreciate your vote starting on October the 16th and finishing it out on November the 4th as Mayor Hines again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again to incumbent Ricky Hines, Mr. Tony Moore, and Mr. Ken Pierce for your presence here tonight and for taking those questions. Let's give them a hand. All right, thank you. As you prepare to leave the table, just a few more announcements before we end for tonight. There is a QR code in your booklet. Please take an opportunity to scan that QR code. We would love to get some feedback on how you say we have performed tonight with regard to handling the form. Want to give another special thank you to all of the candidates that came out tonight and took the questions of our community. Thank you again to the town of Winterville and the Winterville Police Department. And please do not forget to join us for our next forum that will be held on October the 7th in Farmville for the Farmville and Fountain Forum. With that, have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Here.
Thank you.
Kent? Nice to meet you, sir.